Good afternoon. My name is Eugene Bryce of Bryce Energy Services. I thought I'd put together a little presentation on the hierarchy of energy sources that are available to a business. Similar to the waste hierarchy, which some of you may be familiar with, it's basically about putting energy sources in order of which is best to worst in terms of their environmental impact. Not necessarily their commercial cost, but they are closer linked than you may imagine. So let's move on to the first one. So if we look at electricity sources, the top of the tree is 100% on-site renewables. So your business is generating its electricity on-site from renewable sources. That could be wind, solar, hydro, whatever it may be, but it's on-site and renewable. The next one is more than 50% of your electricity is on-site from renewable, and the balance is from a green electricity contract from the grid, from your energy supplier. Similarly, next option, greater than 25% comes from on-site, and the balance from a grid renewable green supplier. Next one, less than 25% on-site generation. So now we're in the region of solar panels, possibly wind generation, intermittent wind generation, and again, the balance from a renewable energy contract, green contract as they're called. Then we get on to greater than 50% renewable on site, and then standard energy contract. Now, a standard energy contract would have mixed energy sources, so it could be gas, wind, basically the electricity as it comes out of the tap. Then greater than 25% on-site renewable, standard electricity contracts. And finally, standard electricity supply contracts, network generation mix. So effectively, you've not bought any green energy, you're just relying on the energy mix. So the worst is the last one, standard electricity contracts, and the best option is 100% on-site renewables. And all businesses will be somewhere between best and worst for electricity. Similarly for gas source, top of the tree is simply that you don't use gas. Again, the idea of this is regarding your carbon footprint and environmental impact, and not having gas use within your business is the best option for gas. Next, as hydrogen is introduced into the network, and particularly for industrial business applications, hydrogen will no doubt become a more critical part of the energy mix. So what we're saying here is greater than 50% of your gas burnt is hydrogen, and you also have carbon capture. Carbon capture is effectively put in a pipe at the end of your burner or a boiler and not allowing the carbon to release to atmosphere. So whatever technology that may be. Similarly to the electric now, greater than 25% of your gas mix is hydrogen and carbon capture. Less than 25% is hydrogen and carbon capture. Finally, continuing, greater 50% hydrogen and then carbon offsets. So rather than physically capturing the carbon, you have carbon offsets, which may be basic one and not robust is planting trees somewhere, or you have invested in a green project, or you've bought green credit of another business. Continuing, greater than 25% hydrogen and or carbon offsets. So you're burning gas and you have carbon offsets for the totality of that gas. And then finally, bottom, burning gas, burning natural gas, LPG, whatever it may be, but you're effectively releasing that carbon directly into the atmosphere with no offsets. So worst is the last one. Up to the best is just simply not burning gas. So taking the two together, just as a quick scoring scale. So if we apply 1 to the best options and a score of 7 to the worst options, so 100% on-site renewables is 1, and for electricity, and for gas, no gas is 1. If we take an example business that may be greater than 25% on-site and grid renewable electricity contracts, so that's a score of 3. And then, unfortunately, they're just burning gas directly. Then their energy source score is 21. The idea being the closer to 1, the better. So an ideal business, an ideal green business, has 100% on-site renewables for powering their electric, and they simply don't use gas. And worst score would be a standard electricity supply contract, and you're burning gas directly without any hydrogen, carbon capture, or carbon offsets, and that would give you a score of 7 times 7, which is 49. So try and get as close to 1 as possible and for as far away from 49 as you can. So that's just indication of the energy source scales. These are scales that I've created. Feel free to debate what should be between 100% on-site renewables and standard electricity, or between gas or no gas and burning gas as the levels. And happy to hear your comments. So that was a presentation by Bryce Energy Services. If you would like any help, please drop me an email to info@bryceenergyservices.com. You'll also find us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter. So feel free to follow, subscribe, or simply lurk. Thank you very much.